I don't see what the words have anything to do with me getting back to Narnia. I mean, they told me that I needed to go. Oh, oh, well, hello there, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome, gather round. It's story time with Brian, story time with Brian, yeah, story time with Brian, yeah, story time with Brian, yeah. All right, gather round, boys and girls, children of all ages. Pull that laptop just a little closer. Snuggle up to the warmth of your cell phone or whatever mobile device you're on right now. Gather around. Brian's going to tell you a beautiful, warm, entertaining story about a time where me actually, I'm not going to talk in third person. I traveled to northern Michigan with a dear friend of mine, and we went to this lovely place called Mackinac Island. Mackinac Island. So Mackinac Island, for those that don't know, it's in northern Michigan. If this is Michigan, however you're looking at it, it's UP. It's this island between the two, right? What's beautiful about it, you can only get there by ferry, obviously, because it's an island. But what's also great about it, there's no automotive vehicles, no motor vehicles allowed on the island other than emergency vehicles. So to get around the island, you have to have either horse, walking, or bicycle, or something non-motorized, right? So my friend and I spent a few days there, and we stayed at this beautiful bed and breakfast. And we were like, hey, asking the innkeeper, like, hey, where's a great casual, note the word casual here, place that we can go for dinner, tomorrow evening? And she goes, oh, there's this great place just up the road from the Grand Hotel. Awesome. For those playing the home game, the Grand Hotel is this fancy 5-star, like fancy, very fancy hotel on the island. Probably a few $100s a night to stay there and everything to the nines, right? So anyway, we're dressed in hoodies and jeans, and we're hiking around the island, biked around the perimeter, and just having this really fun day of adventuring. Awesome. So we're starting to get a little hungry, and like, hey, we're gonna go check out this casual place for dinner. Mind you, we're wearing jeans and hoodies and can't get anywhere, so we're walking. We decided to walk because it's just past the Grand Hotel. All right. So we're walking, and as we're walking, we're noticing horse-drawn carriages with people dressed very fancy going past us in both directions. Okay, cool. Maybe they're going to someplace fun. Who knows where they're going? Awesome. So we're getting closer, and it's getting darker. And we're like, well, we're getting hungry, so we might be getting close. We were walking for a while, and it was more than a mile, by the way, boys and girls. It was way more than a mile past the Grand Hotel. Anyway, on the horizon through the trees, we start seeing this very elaborate mansion-looking place, and we walk up to it, and it's like candlelit sconces, very fancy mansion. Again, we see a few horse-drawn carriages with people getting out, looking like they're going to senior prom. We're wearing hoodies and jeans. So we walk up the marbled staircase, open these grand doors, and in front of us is this large, grand room, probably bigger than a house that I lived in at the time. Walls painted blood red. On the walls, animal busts, deers, bears, just a bunch of critters busts on the walls, right? On the ground in front of us is a grand piano and some guy playing this beautiful grand piano. And then the maitre d' or the host, I'm not sure what to call him, wearing a full tuxedo with tails. Sort of like warily approaches us and kind of like cocks his head. I'm like, two? And he's just like, okay, this way. Leads us up the stairs into the dining hall, which was an even larger room. And we walk in, and I thought we were at a wedding. I mean, again, people dressed in very fancy, like senior prom wedding type apparel, gowns, hair all did up, and men in tuxedos and women wearing very expensive looking dresses and gowns. And I look at my friend, and I'm in my head going, let's just run. This is not good. This isn't. And she's like, no, we're here. So he, like, the host leads us to our table and sits down. Okay, so we're seated now. And we're looking at the menu. And this is one of those sort of fancy restaurants where they have paper tablecloths and crayons Crayons, kids. You know what crayons are. Crayons. Where I'm assuming the waiter is all fancy and cute and writes your order in crayon on the paper tablecloth. Well, in between ordering our drinks and our appetizers, my friend Kate, this is a plug to you, girl, always pushing me. She starts drawing a scene in front of her with the crayons. She's like, why not? There's crayons. I want to draw a scene, right? So she starts drawing a mountain, which turns into a volcano, which turns into an erupting volcano with stick figure men flying off of this thing. And every time the waiter comes over to like refill our water things, she like slides her bread dish in front of to cover this crayon drawing that she has going on, right? Well, anyway, appetizers were done and time to clear the table so that a meal could come. And the waiter grabs the plate from Kate, grabs the plate and looks down and sees her drawing and kind of looks at me, looks at her, and I freeze. I'm like, let's just run right now because I am so uncomfortable right now. Like, and he just sort of like shakes his head and walks away. And Kate just starts laughing. And she was like, damn it, Brian. She goes, we deserve to be here any more than anyone else does, right? Like we are here, we're paying patrons. She goes, the heck with all of them. Let's just be here and eat this. And at this point, I just start laughing. I'm like, okay, like gigs up. Like we're clearly not the desired clientele here, but whatever, we're here, right? So our meal comes and it's this beautiful locally prepared meal, fish, potatoes, veggies, whatever, right? And so we eat it. And you think the story's over, but it's not over yet, kids. It's not quite over. So we eat our meal and I'm kind of like, whatever, this is uncomfortable and it's weird, but we're getting stares from everyone in the restaurant. Like, what are these people doing here, right? The check comes and all the check says is, it doesn't even have I don't even think it had the cost of our meal. It just said room number with a line. It's all it said. And we're just like, oh my. And we considered for a hot minute to just like put room 201 and just like walk out. But neither one of us felt comfortable with that. So we awkwardly call over the waiter and say, hey, yeah, see, we're not guests of the Grand Hotel, so we're not actually staying there. So this can't be billed to our account. Can we pay with cash or a credit card? And the waiter's like, oh God, just please, I want these people out. Like I'm reading his mind. He's just like, I just want these people gone. He goes, I don't know. He goes, I need to go talk to my manager. And he leaves and comes back a few moments later and goes, yeah, here's a traditional receipt. We give him a credit card and we take care of it. I couldn't have been more excited to get out. I couldn't have been more excited to get out of this restaurant and just get out of there, right? And by the way, we were two, poor, strapping 20-somethings with barely 2 nickels to rub together. So this was not exactly our ideal place to go for an evening casual meal, right? So when we get out of the hotel or out of the restaurant, get out of the restaurant, there's a horse-drawn carriage there waiting. And they go, oh, would you like a ride back to the hotel? And we're like, well, what's the cost? They go, well, it's like $5 or $10 a person or something. And we're like, oh, we don't even have any money on us. So no, thank you. We'll just walk. We need a walk. And we like made up some excuse like, oh no, don't worry. We'll just walk. We need the exercise and it'd be nice to walk off the meal anyway. In reality, we would really have loved to have that horse-drawn carriage ride back, but we were too poor at the time to afford it. And so, oh my goodness, it was such an experience of humbleness, of humility, of embarrassment, of all of these things. And I'm so grateful that my best friend Kate was there because like I would have split town. Like as soon as I walked and I saw the blood red walls with the animal busts and the grand piano and the maitre d', I wouldn't have done it. But I just want to thank Kate for pushing me into uncomfortable situations, which are at the end of the day in reality don't matter. And now we have this amazing story to tell. Oh man. So that's that, boys and girls. So the moral of the story, is, one, traveling's fun, two, expect the unexpected, but three, really like push your uncomfortable zone sometimes, especially when you feel you don't belong, but you're not being asked to leave. Who knows, right? And as a result, we have this amazing story to share. And I'm sure all the guests there had this amazing story to share of watching us come in and leave and just having this experience. So thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful story. And as always, this is a continuing story, blog, vlog, diary, whatever, of the life of Brian. And so please like, share, subscribe, and even comment below and tell me what you thought, or even share some funny stories that you may have had. I'd love to hear them. So thank you all for listening. I love all of you. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me. All right, be well, dear ones. Be well.